Man, it's been a full year since you started with us, right? So how's
Oof.
that feel? A year into EA Automatic?
It's crazy to even be at this part along in the journey, but it has been just that. It has been quite the journey, I will say.
How have the numbers been? How have the numbers been treating you over these 12 months? Where are you at?
I'm sitting at about 19K in profit right now.
How does that compare to like what you were hoping for a year ago when you were first giving us a try?
I thought it was probably going to be something more conservative, maybe, a few $100 a month if I was, lucky enough.
Going, how's it going? How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. Uh, Better tell me how the CEO himself is doing.
Not bad. I'm not bad, my friend. Thanks for asking. I think I just finished my third cup of coffee for the day, so I'm properly wired for us to have a good party right now.
There
So
you go. Nice.
yeah, so hey, thanks for making time for this. Really
What?
appreciate that. It's super cool of you. I like to check in with our clients, see how things are going. It's been a full year since you started with us, right? So how's
Oof.
that feel? A year into EA Automatic?
It's crazy to even be at this part along in the journey, but it has been just that. It has been quite the journry, I will say.
Wonderful, wonderful. A journey indeed. Just like a hobbit, I suppose. A long expected. Anyway, sorry. That's
Only
my.
I'm much taller than a hobbit, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
No, I didn't mean any slight. My inner nerd came out. I apologize. So let's cut right to it, man.
Please.
How have the numbers been? How have the numbers been treating you over these 12 months? Where are you at?
You know, uh, Really surprisingly well, actually. I'm sitting at about 19K in profit right now.
That's killer.
Yeah.
So 9,000 over a year. It's really impressive. That certainly can't hurt. So how does that compare to like what you were hoping for a year ago when you were first giving us a try?
Uh, you know, I I I had no idea what to expect, honestly. But I thought it was probably going to be something more conservative, maybe a few $100 a month if I was, lucky enough, right?
Right? Yeah, yeah. A couple hundred. Hey, but you ended up with 19 grand. So that's gotta feel pretty surreal, and it's also got to be, it's always good when expectations are far exceeded. So let's go back to the very beginning. How did you find us, and what was like your initial discovery? Like, were you just scrolling around the internet? Tell me what happened.
Scrolling around the internet, just as you said, and I came across this Facebook ad actually, but I didn't just jump straight away. I was a little nervous about it.
Dude, that's honestly a smart move. There's so many scammy and spammy things out there.
Yeah.
I totally. That's Take your time. So what did you do instead? You do some research. What'd you do?
Well, actually, they had a Telegram community first. So I spent about a week just, checking that out and reading the posts and watching the videos, honestly.
Dig it. Yeah, do due diligence.
Mhm.
100%. Do some research. I like that. So what were you looking for in those like first like conversations and first videos? What were you trying to suss out?
Honestly, the major sus was just seeing if anything was too good to be true and trying to find those real experiences, And what I wanted to see is if people were actually making money or just talking big.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of big talkers sitting in front of a Lamborghini and all that kind of stuff. So after doing some research and checking things out online, what was your takeaway? Where'd you end up?
I found that people seemed, really genuine and not like, those crypto groups where everyone's just like, trying to preach nonsense left and right.
Dude, dude, those are the worst. It drives me crazy, and that's exactly what we're going in there for. Like that's why I like to hop on these calls to hear what people hear from their honest experiences, what their lives are like. So yeah, dude, I've been through that. So after the Telegram deep dive,
Yeah.
um, what made you take the next step? What made you dive in?
I mean, I went into this sort of rabbit hole of starting to watch your YouTube videos,
Yeah.
and that's honestly when everything clicked for me, and just really I really connected with that.
Gotcha. Was there like a specific moment or a specific video? Like what specifically clicked for you?
It was it was sort of the explanation of institutional analysis. That's what really did it in for me. It wasn't just like, follow the smart money. It was about, truly understanding their psychology and, the decision making process, because you're making, hundreds of decisions every day as a human, and just, knowing the through line of that made it just so much easier.
Dude, right on, man. That is on point. That psychological component is
Mhm.
is huge element of like pretty much everything. Um, yeah. So after Facebook and Telegram research and a little YouTube education,
Mhm.
you finally pulled the trigger. And so, what was the first like couple weeks or first month like? What did it look like? Let me guess. Let me guess. You were checking it all the time.
All the time. I mean, I checked it more than the scale in the bathroom. It was nerve wracking, to be honest. I mean, every trade felt like, is this the biggest trade of my life, or it was just the biggest deal ever. Yeah.
Yeah, of course it felt like that, man. It's like, and I knew it. I know that because I've seen this happen so many times. But then you got connected with you weren't with James, you were with Anthony, right?
Anthony, yeah.
Yeah, cool. So how did that relationship kind of develop? How's that looking?
Anthony has been the best. I mean, we talked maybe twice a week at least, and then we settled into weekly check-ins. I talk to Anthony now more than my own mother. It's absurd.
Well, hopefully you have good cock. So, but besides, yeah. So what do you guys chat about on those calls? Are you just talking? What are you talking about?
We're talking about everything, simple, like how you doing, first of all, human to human, salutations and all that. But we'll eventually hit up the market conditions and how everything's been performing, within the system, and my questions mainly about, specific trades that I, may be ignorant to, and, learning more about that. And he just knows his stuff, plain and simple.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. Anthony's one of our very best. So, speaking of Anthony,
Yeah.
he know that you went with the portfolio solution after working with him for about a month. What drove you to that decision?
I guess I wanted to, diversify the risk a bit. Having multiple strategies running, multiple streams seems smarter to me than, putting everything in,
Yeah,
on one approach. I tend to do that sometimes. So having this, nice differentiation towards it was great.
no, man, that's 100% smart thinking. Like, I mean, you want diversification, you want to be, that makes all the sense in the world. So how's that been working out compared to the single strategy? Is it just more like balanced? Is it, are you just seeing more consistency?
All
What's
those things. I mean, it's just simply a much smoother ride. Less volatility, even more consistent growth than I was expecting.
fantastic? Good
Yeah.
deal. Good deal. So, that's the whole thing behind portfolio management.
Hmm.
Before all this, before EA Automatic,
Right.
did you have experience investing or trading with anybody? What was up with that?
I mean, not so much, just the pretty basic stuff. I had a 401k through work and some index funds, but not a very, nothing exciting, not a very interesting portfolio.
Very cool. So were you EA Automatic is kind of like your first real dive into active trading?
Yeah. I mean, completely new territory for me, and I'd always been intimidated by the whole thing, if I'm going to be frank about it.
That's please be frank. So let me ask you a follow up to that.
Yes.
What changed, man? Then like, what made you willing to try? Like, what made you willing? How are you willing to try something that you were kind of intimidated by and you didn't know much about? Like, what
I
made you?
mean, with everything that's a new source of one productivity and interest, it was the educational component about it. I was mostly trading on platforms just that would throw you in the deep end, and you guys actually, funny enough, explained that what was happening and why, and even you even assigned me to an asset manager, which I so appreciated. Thank you.
Well, education over execution, I suppose,
Yeah.
would be my response to that. That's kind of our philosophy. So once again, $19,000 over a year in profit.
Mhm.
Has that changed your life in any practical ways? You feel less stress? How do you feel as a human being right now about that?
It's a really nice cushion to sit on. I paid off some credit card debt, which is, always a monthly stress, and
Yeah,
took a vacation, which I wouldn't have taken otherwise. It was nice to get out of town for a while. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. Nothing. First of all, credit card debt is the devil. Please
Mm,
pay. Nothing is nothing helps you breathe better than
yeah.
having a little financial breathing room. I mean, that's why they call it breathing room. It helps you breathe. So let me shift the topic. Who have you told anybody about us? Have you shared EA Automatic with friends, family? Let me know.
I mean, you get on this winning streak, and I feel like I definitely told a few close friends that are close, and my wife obviously got a happy wife, happy life.
Yes, it's a saying for a reason. So, when you told her I'm going to try forex trading, what was her reaction? Did you have a conversation? Was she? I mean, that can be a thing, man.
Oh, and it was a thing, I will
Yeah,
say. I mean, you have to have clear communication with your partner, and she thought I'd lost my mind at first. I was just like, listen. I showed her the research I'd done, and then the Telegram community and the videos, all the educational materials, and then she and I started to. She found the same breathing room that I found. She got more comfortable with it.
gotcha. Now, a year later, I bet you she's a lot further along in the believing. What's going on with
I
that?
mean, as the song goes, she's a believer. I mean, it's hard to argue with 19 grand in results. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
mean, it's just exquisite.
money talks. I mean, yeah, that certainly does have a way of silencing any skeptical thoughts.
That's right.
So what about friends? What about friends? Any converts there?
I one of my closest friends, he started, asking serious questions about it because you notice that there's a different glow that you got, and so after I had mentioned the returns, he was, it was like, oh, so he's thinking about joining as well.
Smart guy. Yeah, I mean, why
Yeah.
not? So did you send him? We have the affiliate link.
Mhm.
You get a bonus. Did you sign him up for that? Did you send that to him? Like, how'd that work out? And furthermore, like over the past year, have there been any moments where you like actually thought about pulling out and going the other way or trying a different investing approach?
You know, not really, but we had a few weeks of just a plateaued performance in a way, and I started to second guess everything.
That can happen, but so what got you through it then? What made you not?
I mean, it's our man Anthony. He always does. He knows all, and he walked me through the market conditions at the time, and he helped me understand why the system was having me be more cautious, and why we needed to look at this very cautiously together. So yeah.
Great. Well, that's kind of exactly why we have asset managers, you know.
Right.
So so how did that little rough patch resolve? What actually happened?
Yeah, I mean the system adapted, and we started getting that money faster, which is great, and that's when I really understood the learning, if you will, aspect that you guys are always talking about. Every day is a new day to grow in that financial literacy.
That's brilliant. I love it. So yeah, that's kind of like the institutional analysis in action, if you
Yeah.
will. So it's constantly evolving. It's constantly figuring out new patterns and market behaviors. That's kind of the deal.
Yeah, and I can see that in the trade selection now, which I didn't before. It was like hieroglyphics before, and it feels I feel a bit more sophisticated than when I started. Which if I could put this to reading a book every day, that'd be something else.
Yeah. It's like, if you take a whole year of like continuous learning and smush it into your trading results.
Right.
So what are you looking forward? What are your plans looking ahead? Are you scaling? Are you going to scale up a bit? Are you going to take the money out and just start a new business? Are you staying the course? What's your
I,
what's your
I'm feeling really good about everything that's been happening, and it's one of those things where you take it obviously day by day, but I'm thinking about increasing my portfolio allocation because I think there's room to maybe add another strategy or two. Why not?
Yeah, you know what? Conservative growth is I can't preach that enough. That's always where I would lean. But that's me. Everybody's different. So what's driving your decisions
I
though?
mean, for me, it's the consistency has me convinced, and I mean, a year is enough time to see it. It's not just luck. There's a pattern now, and it's I'm really understanding that pattern.
Yeah, absolutely. 12 months of data, that's not a short sample size.
Mm-mm.
That tells a real story there. So
Yeah.
all right, so let me check the yeah. All right. I've got to ask and
Yeah.
this is a big one. If someone came to you today and they're asking you about EA Automatic, what would you tell them? Your words.
You know, I mean, with everything that new that comes into, a person's life, I tell them to do their homework, like I did. You got to research, because you can't just, blindly go into anything. Otherwise, that risk is really going to impact you. You got to read the telegram and watch the videos and understand what you're getting yourself into, but if that was the thing, sometimes for me, I get a bit impatient about, like, these growth levels. And so I had to be willing to be patient and trust that process. And because of that, it's been the best investment decision I've made.
Well, fantastic. That's great advice.
I mean, it just worked like that way for me. So I'm really happy about that.
This well, and $19,000 later, I'd say it's
Cha-ching!
pretty dang well for you, buddy. So listen, this year's been fantastic for you. I'm very glad for you, and yeah, by all means, share it. Check in with Anthony or myself anytime.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Thanks for sharing your story. Thanks for sharing it with other people that are going to be in the community.
Hmm.
And congratulations on a full year, buddy. That's
Thank you, David. I appreciate it.
sure thing, Ryan. Yeah, man, I really love it. Yeah, keep up the great stuff. Take care of that wife of yours. Do the thing. And,
I should.
if you need Anthony for anything, just let him know, and we'll help you take care of all those scaling plans and all that.
Yeah, I mean, the communication with you all has been great, and I thank you so much for your guidance and just, helping me. It's a new special skill. It's a really nice new special skill.
Great. Well, you've been an absolute pleasure. Please,
Thank you.
anytime, anytime. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, and
You too.